Linah Anyango is going to be our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Linah did not initially want to be a teacher, but grew to love the profession with time and experience. Her ideas about teaching changed when she was posted to secondary school, where the students had low self-esteem and the boys were caught up with drugs and gangs, while a number of girls were overburdened with domestic chores and also suffered sexual exploitation. These factors contribute to high rate of absenteeism and dropouts, especially among the girls. Linah shifted her focus from improving grades to developing knowledge, skills, values and attitudes that would help students after school life. Going ahead and welcoming Linah Anyango on board, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. I'm so privileged to be a speaker in this conference to talk about digital learning in Africa. Today, I would like us to discuss about gamification of the learning process. You may be wondering, what is this all about? As educators, we must have realized that with time, students get disengaged with learning. Even in the normal physical classrooms, once in a while, you might find a student who is distracted and is doing something else, or who simply just loses interest or is disengaged in the learning process. But this is worse for online learning. And therefore, today I want us to talk about this aspect of online learning, which can make our lessons more engaging and make our students more motivated to learn. Did you know that the average attention span of human beings is only 8 seconds? What this means is that after every 8 seconds, human beings tend to lose their attention and to think about something else. Therefore, it means that it is very challenging. Most lessons, I think in Kenya, most lessons in high school go for around 40 minutes. So you can imagine if a student can only pay attention for 8 seconds. How much will a teacher need to work hard to ensure that this student pays attention for the rest of the 40 minutes? Okay. So 8 seconds is what a human attention span has fallen from 12 seconds in 2000, and currently it is only at 8 seconds. So after every 8 seconds, you have to find something else to engage the learners. This therefore means that we have to come up with ways to avoid the student from being distracted. What are some of the major distractions in online lessons? Because I know since Corona came in, most educational institutions have been trying to ensure that the education does not stop by introducing online lessons. We know all the challenges of online lessons, but key among them is maintaining engagement of learners throughout the lesson. We know the instances where learners just turn off their videos, they go on mute. So as a teacher, you don't really know whether your learners are with you or you are alone. But apart from that, even for learners who are physically there, you can see them, their videos are on, they might be disengaged in whatever you are presenting. What are some of the distractions that these learners go through? Key among them is that while you are presenting your lesson, the learner might have opened another tab, listening to music. Okay, because most online lessons are done with internet, so it means that during your lesson, this student is able to access all the other online platforms, YouTube being among them. So these students could be listening to music, or these students could be sending each other text messages. I remember there's a time we were having an online exam, yet the students were communicating, sending each other messages. The teacher was there with the webcam on. The students look very busy, but on the side, they were texting each other messages and asking each other questions about the exams. Others are easily to chat on social networks because the same digital devices they're using, they have their Facebook accounts there, they have their Instagram accounts. So the minute the lesson is not engaging, the learners are likely to log in to check what is the latest post in Instagram. Do I have something in my inbox? And last but not least, they're just likely to surf on the internet during the online lessons. So these are the unique challenges that a teacher delivering online lessons is likely to go through, which is unique and different from what physical lessons offer. In a physical class, the teacher has got more control, and the teacher can come up with ways to ensure that students' attention is captured and maintained. But in online lessons, there are very many other distractions which are presented because of the fact that these students are online at that time. Therefore, how might we increase student engagement in digital learning? How might we increase student engagement in digital learning? One of the ways that I've been campaigning for is through gamification of learning process. So the gamification of learning process is simply an educational approach which seeks to motivate students by using game elements in learning environments. We know how much students love to play. In fact, they say that all work without play makes Jack a dull boy. In my 14 years of teaching, I have noted that when the bell goes for the students to go out for break, to go out to play, they respond to the bell very fast. They're looking forward to go out to play. But when the bell goes for them to stop playing and come back to class, they drag themselves. This tells you where their interest is, that they love playing. How about if we take the concepts of play and bring them to classroom, so that the same things which motivate the learners to play, the rewards, the winning, the competition, that spirit of I want to go to the next level. If you can apply those concepts in classroom, this could be a very good way of making learning fun and also motivating our learners. So what's the goal of gamification? One is that just to make learning fun. Learners want to do what they love. They want to learn while having fun. They don't want to learn. They don't want to learn like it's a punishment. I'm just in school because I was told I have to be in school. Like it's a growing season for us to go to school. We want to make learners look forward to lessons, look forward to going to school. So by gamifying our lessons, by making the lessons fun, this way we could be motivating the learners to look forward to learning. The other thing is that gamification would increase engagement by capturing the interests of learners, motivate learners to continue learning. Because as we'll see, one of the main aspects of gamification is the reward system. I know most of us are playing different video games, and every time you finish one level and you are rewarded a star, you want to go to the next level. So you are motivated, you want to continue to the next level. And even as the levels become complex, you are up to the challenge. That is what you want for our learners. And lastly, if you do all this, then we'll also be improving learning outcomes, because the learners will be willing to learn on their own. They'll be looking forward to learning. They'll not be looking at lessons or as classrooms as part of growing up, but something which they enjoy doing. Look at this. Motivation all boils down to a golden star sticker. In simple terms, we say that rewards can help motivate and engage certain behaviors. So in the gamification, we depend so much on the rewarding system that every time you are able to score, you have a reward, and that reward would motivate you to go to the next level. Okay. Some of the classroom tools for increased student engagement, we have the Class Dojo, which helps to track behaviors and message parents. We have the Socrative, which gives quizzes, short answer options. We have Kahoot, which gives quizzes and race to answer the quickest. And we have Quizzes, which also give quizzes, and it also offers individual-paced learning. But in this context, we're going to look at two. We look at Kahoot, and we also look at Quizzes. So what Kahoot does is that it offers questions with multiple choices. The multiple choices could be between 2, 3, or 4, or it could be a true or false option. And the entire class is involved. What happens is that in Kahoot, the questions are projected on a screen and the students answer on their gadget. So this one it's involving the learners to keep looking up at the projector, and then they go back to their gadgets. And the fastest team or the fastest learner to get the correct answer get the most points. And when you want to play Kahoots, you only direct your learners to go to kahoot.it. So the learners actually do not need to have any account. It does not need any major software investment. Just with your digital device, the teacher will just need to create a Kahoot account. And anytime the teacher has a quiz, the teacher will just tell the learners, go to kahoot.it. And once there, the teacher will share a game pin and they'll be able to get started. The other one is about quizzes. So for quizzes, one, you do not need a projector. We saw that for Kahoot, you need a projector. Why? Because the questions will be projected on the projector, but the learners will be answering on their gadgets. That is not the same case with quizzes. Quizzes, the questions are presented on the learners' devices, and the multiple choices are also on the learners' devices. Students work at their own pace. You have the option of giving the quiz to be a live quiz session, or you can give that quiz as homework. So you only share with the learners the link. Once they're at home, they click on the link, and they're able to do the quiz at their own pace. So you can also print quizzes for those who didn't make it. That is another advantage of quizzes. And it assigns fun avatar randomly to students. It gives them more life. I have seen how my students get excited when they're given more life with this avatar during the games. And it also allows for review while waiting for others to finish. So every time the student answers a question and maybe gets the question wrong, in quizzes, they'll be reviewed. There are explanations as to why your answer is wrong and the other answers are correct. Sorry. So to play quizzes, you just direct your learners to join.quizzes.com. And once they join using join.quizzes.com, the educator or the teacher shares the game pin, and then the game starts. So I'd like us to look at how to bring gamification to your classroom. How to bring gamification to your classroom. One, look for easy ways to bring games to your learning environment. There are very many free tools for gamifying your lessons. In this presentation, I've shared about Kahoot. I've also shared about quizzes. These are free of charge. All you need is internet and a digital device. The next thing is develop rewards based on your lesson plans. You realize that once you start introducing games to your classroom, learners will want to play more games and more games. But as a teacher, you are always guided by your lesson plan. Don't let the learners' excitement over playing games make you to stray from your lesson plan. Let your lesson plan be the guide. The games you are choosing, they must be based on the objective, not just to make learning fun. At the end of it all, you want the learners to, one, have fun, but also have or attain the learning outcomes. So develop your rewards based on your lesson plans. And last but not least, don't overwhelm students with new tools and new ideas. There are very many tools. I've only shared two. Quizzes and Kahoot. So if you concentrate on teaching the learners every day, you teach the learners new tools, you might transform your class from a biology class, for instance, into a technology class. Remember, technology is only there to support pedagogy. So don't overwhelm students. Don't concentrate so much on the number of tools you are using, but look at the ideas, the concepts that you want the learners to get. Which tools are best suited to help you in achieving the objective or the learning outcomes that you have presented. Just as a parting shot, we've seen that learners have their unique way of learning. We've seen that learners are motivated and are excited to learn if the game aspect is included in the classroom. And therefore, in my parting shot, I would say that if I can't learn the way you teach, then teach me the way I learn. This is what I always tell my fellow teachers whenever I have training sessions, that different learners learn differently. And as teachers, we know we have our way of teaching. But at the end of it all, our client at all times is the learner. So if the learner cannot learn the way I teach, then let me understand how does this learner want to learn so that I can teach this learner the way this learner wants to learn. And with those very few remarks, I hope that my audience today are going to try out those tools, are going to start introducing gamification in their classrooms. The ones I've shared today is gamification aspects for digital learning. We have very many other gamification designs or styles for physical classrooms, how to introduce games in teaching of mathematics, teaching of chemistry, teaching of various disciplines in the classroom, if you're not using the digital devices. I thank you for your audience, and I'm ready for questions. Thank you. So there's a question here. There's a question here about the first type of games was to entertain kids to keep them engaged. They just make it fun. School of thought. It's even harder with kids who outgrow the fun if the game does not evolve. Will students face hurdles when face real world challenges? Okay, so I think that this question is about asking about being unpredictable in your games. So as a teacher, if the students know that anytime I come to class, I will start with a quizzes, I'll start with a Kahoot. With time, these games will be boring. So as a teacher, you have to be innovative. You have to come up with new games. I've said there are very many of them on online games or even for physical classrooms. Just don't be predictable to your learners, because with time, they'll be bored with those games and they'll want new ones. In the world of technology, even for us adults using our phones, there are games we used to play 10 years back. We don't play them now using our phones. I remember there used to be that game of the snake. As the snake eats more things, it becomes longer. That one cannot apply in this era. So as a teacher, you need to be innovative. You need to look for other new ways of engaging your students as they learn.
Thank you so much, Ms. Linah, for coming and joining in. Thank you so much for such an interactive session. So we have questions, and then we would send across the questions to you via email so that you can go ahead and reply back to our delegates.
Very well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.